In the summer of 1999, an 18-year-old college student typed his final lines of code. He had accidentally created the biggest threat the music industry had ever faced. Sean Fanning sat in his Northeastern University dorm room, surrounded by the frustrated complaints of his roommates. They all wanted the same thing: to share music files with each other. But the internet in 1999 made this almost impossible. Finding a single song online meant checking dozens of random websites, hoping someone had uploaded exactly what you needed. Most searches ended in disappointment. The few files you could find were often corrupted, mislabeled, or it took hours to download on slow connections. Sean watched his friends waste entire evenings hunting for music that should have been simple to find. As a computer science student, he saw this as just another coding problem, waiting for an elegant solution. He spent the next several weeks writing a program that would change everything. Instead of searching random websites, his software would let users share files directly with each other. Type in a song title and the program would instantly show you everyone who had the file in their computer. He called it Napster, after his high school nickname, Nappy. By June 1999, hundreds of students across campus were using his creation to trade music files. None of them realized they were about to trigger the most explosive copyright battle in history. None of them knew that within 2 years, 80 million people would be using the same technology to break federal law every single day. The music industry's billion-dollar empire was about to face its first existential threat, and it all started with a teenager trying to help his college friends find songs. If that sounds like a good story to you, hit that like and subscribe button for more fascinating business tales. But Fanning's simple file-sharing solution was about to become something far more powerful than anyone imagined. When 19-year-old Sean Parker discovered Napster, he immediately understood what Sean Fanning had missed. This was a revolutionary technology that could reshape the entire music industry. Parker had this business instinct that Fanning lacked. While Sean Fanning saw Napster as a helpful program for college students, Parker envisioned a global network that could threaten the fundamental way music was bought and sold. The digital revolution had found its perfect moment. MP3 compression technology had just made music files small enough for practical internet sharing. College campuses offered high-speed connections that most American homes wouldn't have for years, and students possessed both the technical knowledge and the burning desire for free music that would fuel Napster's explosive growth. Napster's design created unstoppable network effects. Every new user made the service exponentially more valuable for everyone else. When you joined with your music collection, you weren't just gaining access to thousands of songs. You were also making thousands of songs available for everyone else. Word spread through dorms and computer labs faster than any traditional marketing campaign could reach. Students discovered they could access virtually any song ever recorded instantly for free. Sean Fanning's uncle John Fanning quickly seized control of the business side, claiming 70% of the company for himself. Sean Parker became president while Sean Fanning remained the technical genius behind the code. They attracted venture capital funding, moved into professional offices, and began building the infrastructure for what would become the largest copyright violation in human history. By early 2000, their college project had transformed into a global phenomenon that was about to force the most powerful entertainment companies on Earth into a fight for their very survival. By 2001, more Americans were using Napster than had voted in the previous presidential election. Napster officially recorded 26.4 million verified users at its peak, but industry estimates suggested the real figure reached 80 million people worldwide. To put that in perspective, 1 in 4 Americans was actively participating in what the music industry considered mass theft. At the height of Napster's popularity, approximately 14,000 songs were being downloaded every single minute. That's more than 20 million songs per day flowing through a network that had grown way beyond college campuses. The cultural impact was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Teenagers in suburban bedrooms suddenly had access to the same music libraries as radio stations. Parents discovered rare recordings from their youth that had been out of print for decades. Musicians in remote towns could instantly access influences from every corner of the globe. Record stores watched helplessly as foot traffic disappeared. CD sales, which had grown steadily for 2 decades, began their first decline in the format's history. Town Records and other music retailers saw customers browse their shelves, then go home to download the same albums for free. Napster had accidentally created something unprecedented. A parallel music economy, where millions of people accessed music outside the traditional system of record labels, distributors, and retailers. For the first time in history, artists and fans could connect directly, bypassing the entire commercial music infrastructure. This was a cultural revolution that threatened to make the traditional music business model obsolete overnight. Then on April 13, 2000, one of the world's biggest rock bands did something unprecedented. They sued their own fans. Metallica's discovery of Napster came through pure accident. An unfinished version of their song, I Disappear, had leaked onto the platform before the band had even decided to release it. When Lars Ulrich, the band's drummer, heard his unreleased music playing on the radio, he knew exactly where it had come from. What happened next shocked both the music industry and Napster users worldwide. Metallica didn't just file a lawsuit against Napster. They went after individual users too. The band's legal team identified 335,435 specific Napster usernames that had downloaded Metallica songs. In a surreal scene that captured the absurdity of the digital age, Lars Ulrich personally delivered boxes of printed usernames to Napster's headquarters, demanding that every single account be permanently banned. Dr. Dre quickly joined the legal assault, adding his own lawsuit and demanding the removal of his entire catalog from the platform. Two of the most respected names in music had declared war on their own audience. The fan backlash was immediate. Metallica, once beloved for their rebellious anti-establishment image, were suddenly cast as corporate sellouts who had betrayed the very fans who made them famous. Protesters gathered outside their concerts. Online forums exploded with angry fans promising never to buy another Metallica album. The music industry had made a fateful choice. Instead of trying to understand and adapt to the technology that was clearly the future, they had chosen scorched earth legal warfare. The battle lines were drawn, and there would be no going back. On July 11, 2000, a drummer from a heavy metal band sat before the United States Senate. He was there to argue for the future of American intellectual property. The scene in the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing room was surreal. Lars Ulrich, better known for smashing cymbals than crafting legal arguments, found himself as the face of copyright protection in the digital age. Ulrich delivered his now famous analogy with surprising eloquence. Just like a carpenter who crafts a table gets to decide if he wants to keep it, sell it, or give it away, he told the senators, we should have the same choice with our music. The hearing revealed a generational divide that cut straight through American society. Older senators nodded approvingly at Ulrich's defense of traditional property rights. Younger staffers and observers seemed skeptical of an industry that appeared to be fighting the inevitable march of technology. But Metallica wasn't the only voice in the room. Chuck D from Public Enemy had taken the opposite stance, defending Napster as a promotional tool that could help independent artists reach new audiences. There are cases used to support yet another lawyer looking to preserve the prehistoric existence of contracts past, he argued. Cable news channels treated the hearing like a sporting event, with copyright holders in one corner and digital freedom advocates in the other. Editorial pages across the country debated whether Napster represents theft or innovation. The Congressional hearing crystallized the fundamental question of the digital age, whether new technology should be forced to conform to old business models, or whether old industries must adapt to technological reality. The senators asked probing questions but offered no immediate answers. The battle had escalated from dorm rooms to courtrooms to the halls of Congress itself. Judge Marilyn Patel had 48 hours to decide the fate of 80 million users and the future of digital music. The case of A&M Records versus Napster had been building for months, but the moment of decision arrived with shocking speed. Record industry lawyers argued that Napster was facilitating massive copyright infringement on an unprecedented scale. Napster's defense team countered that their client was simply providing technology, not controlling how users chose to enjoy it or employ it. Judge Patel wasn't swayed by the technology arguments. On July 26, 2000, she issued a preliminary injunction ordering Napster to stop facilitating the sharing of copyrighted music. Napster's lawyers rushed to appeal, but the higher courts offered little relief. The appeals court upheld the lower court's decision, finding that Napster had indeed contributed to massive copyright infringement. The legal system had handed Napster an impossible task. The court demanded that the company prevent users from sharing copyrighted material. But the technology wasn't designed to distinguish between legal and illegal files. Compliance would essentially require shutting down the entire service. In July 2001, Napster's servers went dark forever. The platform that had connected 80 million music lovers around the world simply vanished overnight. The company agreed to pay $26 million to music publishers and songwriters in a settlement that acknowledged the scope of the infringement. By 2002, Napster had filed for bankruptcy. Its revolutionary technology reduced to a legal footnote. The music industry celebrated Napster's death in July 2001, but by December something far worse had taken its place. Within months of Napster's shutdown, a dozen new file-sharing networks had sprouted from its ashes. Kazaa, LimeWire, Nutella, and BitTorrent offered the same free music access that Napster had provided, but with a crucial difference that terrified record industry executives. These new networks were completely decentralized. Unlike Napster, which relied on central servers that could be shut down with a court order, the successor platforms had no single point of failure. Every user's computer became both a client and a server, creating a distributed network that was virtually impossible to destroy. The legal strategy that had worked against Napster was useless against these Hydra-headed replacements. There were no corporate headquarters to target, no central servers to unplug, no single company to sue into bankruptcy. CD sales continued their steep decline throughout 2002 and beyond, proving that destroying Napster had solved nothing. The recording industry found itself playing an impossible game of whack-a-mole. Shut down one network and three more would appear. Sue one set of developers, and anonymous programmers would release improved versions from countries beyond American legal reach. Music executives slowly realized their devastating mistake. Napster, for all its faults, had been a single company with identifiable leadership that might have been willing to negotiate licensing deals. Sean Fanning and Sean Parker had never wanted to destroy the music industry. They had simply wanted to create better technology. By destroying the one file-sharing service that might have worked with them, the recording industry had instead created a landscape of anonymous, untouchable networks operated by people who had no interest in cooperating or compromise. The genie was permanently out of the bottle, and the industry's legal victory had only made it more powerful. 25 years later, every major music platform on Earth operates on the principle Napster proved. Give people instant access to any song they want. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and dozens of other streaming services are Napster's legitimate children. They offer the same instant gratification and unlimited catalogs that made Napster revolutionary, just within a legal framework that compensates artists and labels. The music industry eventually embraced the access over ownership model they had fought so desperately to prevent. Consumer expectations had been permanently altered. People now expect to stream any song instantly rather than buy individual albums. Sean Fanning and Sean Parker both went on to create other transformative technologies. The teenager who coded Napster in his dorm room had proven that technological revolutions cannot be stopped by lawsuits. They can only be channeled into frameworks that serve both innovation and creators. Napster's vision ultimately triumphed, just in a form that worked for everyone. What was your first experience with digital music sharing? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story of technological disruption, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of how rebels changed the world forever. And if you think this revolution was incredible, wait until you see the next story we've prepared for you. Click here to watch it now.